Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
राज, बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था। और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा।
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है, Unocoin के साथ।
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं। Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Guys, we really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Yes! Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the Unocoin app to get your Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
Hello guys, once again welcome back to Unocoin's live AMA session which you also know as live Q&A session। आज का जो हमारा सेशन है वो काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है क्योंकि हम बात करने वाले हैं कि आने वाले बुल रन के पहले हमें क्या चीज़ें नहीं करनी है। So this is your host for today, शांभवी सोनी, and I'm sure कि आप आज का ये सेशन बहुत enjoy करेंगे। वैसे हमारे जो आज के स्पीकर हैं, आप सबके फेवरेट जो स्पीकर हैं मिस्टर सात्विक विश्वनाथ, द CEO एंड co-founder ऑफ Unocoin, वो आज थोड़ा सा लेट हो गए हैं। सो इन द मीन टाइम जब तक वो ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, हम बात कर लेते हैं थोड़े मार्केट सिनारियो की। अब हम सबको पता है कि एक बहुत ही अच्छी स्पीड पे हमारी गाड़ी चल रही थी, $49,000 लगभग 50 के क्लोज पहुंच चुका था बिटकॉइन का प्राइस, एंड देन वी सडनली स्टार्टेड ड्रॉपिंग एंड वी सॉ अ मेजर प्लंज इन द मार्केट। अब वो क्यों हो रहा है, ये काफी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज होगी जानने वाली। तो आप लोग बताओ, आप लोग को क्यों लग रहा है कि ये मार्केट प्लंज हो रहा है? वो इसलिए कि ETF के बाद सबने सोचा था डिप होगा, या ETF के आसपास डिप होगा, या दिस इज अ रेगुलर करेक्शन व्हिच वी सी अहेड ऑफ एवरी बुल रन? आपको क्या लगता है किस रीजन से होगा? जब तक आप कमेंट सेक्शन में अपने ओपिनियंस डालते हो, तब तक एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ जो काफ़ी नोटवर्दी है वो हो रही है इस वक्त मार्केट में, वो है जो अभी फियर एंड ग्रीड का जो इंडेक्स है। अभी हम देख रहे हैं यूजुअली व्हेन द मार्केट डिप्स द सेंटिमेंट्स गोज हाईली टुवर्ड्स द फियर साइड, यानी कि लोग बहुत ईजी से लिक्विडेट कर रहे होते हैं। बट अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि जबकि मार्केट डिप हो रहा है उसके बावजूद भी हमारा जो ग्रीड एंड फियर इंडेक्स है वो न्यूट्रल के पोजीशन पे है। I don't know now what that means. Well, none of us really know what any. So, this particular year for crypto is going to be so very ecstatic, so very exciting, and मेरी तो नींदें उड़ चुकी हैं, and I'm literally not able to sleep, and I'm talking to so many people here and there, back and forth. सबकी ऑलमोस्ट यही ओपिनियन है। आई थिंक जब तक हाविंग नहीं हो जाती तब तक के लिए मार्केट जितनी डाइसी रहने वाली है ना, इट्स गोना बी सुपर इंटरेस्टिंग। सो प्रदीप प्रसाद यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं बिटकॉइन इज डूइंग ग्रेट, बिटकॉइन इज ऑलवेज डूइंग ग्रेट प्रदीप, एंड मतलब बिटकॉइन की खासियत ही ये है। अभी हाल में मैंने काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग ट्वीट डाला था विच वाज अबाउट how I wanted the market to dip so bad to just grab an opportunity to buy more Bitcoin, buy more sats and everything हमारे मार्केट में जब प्राइस डिप होगा, बट वो हुआ नहीं। ईटीएफ के तुरंत बाद, ईटीएफ के थोड़े टाइम के बाद हुआ। तब तक मैंने ऑलरेडी एक अच्छा सा सिस्टमैटिक बाइंग प्लान सेटअप कर दिया था ऊनोकॉइन के ऐप पर, जिससे एवरी डे एक सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ सम मेरे अकाउंट से डिडक्ट होकर के बिटकॉइन में इन्वेस्ट हो जा रहा था। अब जब मार्केट फाइनली डिप हुआ, आई हैड लिटरली नो फोमो कि यार अब तो मार्केट डिप हो रहा है, अब तो खरीद लेना चाहिए, वो वाला हुआ नहीं। तो यहाँ पे मेकिंग शॉट्स फ्रॉम वीडियो कह रहे हैं, हाँ जी सोनिया। ओके, सो बिल्कुल, आई मीन दिस डिप एंड सर्ज इन प्राइस इज अ कांस्टेंट थिंग, एंड अगर हम हिस्टोरिक डेटा देखें तो आई मीन इट वाज वेरी मच एंटिसिपेटेड कि ये होना ही है एक बार। वैसे भी अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि जो जीबीटीसी वाली चीज़, आई एम नॉट रियली अवेयर ऑफ द इंटायर न्यूज़ की क्या चल रहा है, बट कुछ तो चल रहा है जीबीटीसी से रिलेटेड जिसकी वजह से भी प्राइस पे असर पड़ रहा है। तो आपको क्या लगता है व्हाट माइट बी द रीज़न कि ये जीबीटीसी का क्या चीज़ है? अगर आपको कुछ पता है इस बारे में तो डेफिनेटली मुझे बताइए कि क्या चल रहा है, एंड क्या हो रहा है मार्केट में, और आपको क्या लगता है, आई मीन नेक्स्ट मार्क क्या होने वाला है बिटकॉइन का, 30K, और इज इट गोइंग टू बी a new all-time high soon enough? Abhijit is saying, hi, good evening, whether BTC will go 3000 USD. So अभिजीत, मुझे तो ये लगता है कि ये बात खुद बिटकॉइन के क्रिएटर को भी नहीं पता होगी कि अब आने वाले दिनों में बिटकॉइन 30,000 USD जाएगा या फिर 40,000 या फिर एक नया ऑल टाइम हाई हिट करेगा। इट्स वेरी स्पेक्युलेटिव विद बिटकॉइन। सो मुझे तो लगता है कि यार, मतलब डोंट टेक इट एज अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइस, दिस इज जस्ट अ पर्सनल ओपिनियन विच आई फील माइट बी अ थिंग, कि जो रेजिस्टेंस होगा ना, वो अभी जो, मतलब रेजिस्टेंस को तो हम वो नहीं कर सकते, बट जो सपोर्ट लेवल है वो बहुत ज़्यादा गिर करके 43 जाएगा, 33 जाएगा, सॉरी नॉट 43, 33 जाएगा, बहुत ज़्यादा गिर करके। उससे ज़्यादा तो जाना नहीं चाहिए, अगर चला भी गया तो फिर उड़ भी जाएगा। सो अगर आपको बिटकॉइन खरीदने हैं एंड यू आर वरीड अबाउट कि यार 30,000 हो तब मैं खरीदूं, तो फिर थोड़ा सा सोच लो, क्योंकि नोबडी कैन पुट अ फिंगर ऑन अ सर्टेन नंबर कि ये होगा ही होगा। Making shots from video here is asking, what about SHIB coin? Okay, SHIB coin is okay, I can't say that word on air, but then SHIB coin is a good meme coin, and meme coin की एक बड़ी अच्छी खासियत होती है कि वो हंसी मजाक के लिए होते हैं एंड उनको सीरियसली नहीं लिया जाता है। अगर आप ये बात समझ गए तो आप आधी जंग ऐसे ही जीत गए। ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव सीन पीपल मेक अ लॉट ऑफ गेन्स फ्रॉम इट इन द पास्ट, बट ये है कि दे आर वेरी मच इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय सो मेनी फैक्टर्स दैट इट्स नॉट वर्थ इन्वेस्टिंग अ लॉट ऑफ मनी इन। हम लोग कई सारे एमएस में इस बारे में डिस्कस भी कर चुके हैं, हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स ने भी आपको बताया, अगर आप एक अपना पोर्टफोलियो क्रिएट कर रहे हो विद डाइवर्सिफिकेशन इन इट, you should focus mostly on top 10, that too at least 50% of your capital in bitcoin। उसके बाद आपको जो करना है करो, क्योंकि इट्स अ फ्री मार्केट। मैं आपको नहीं बोलने वाली कि आप खाली बिटकॉइन में इन्वेस्ट करो, बट आपको ये सब एनालाइज करना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि अगर आप एक पर्टिकुलर कॉइन में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो डॉज कॉइन का भी वही सीन है सर, भले ही वो टॉप 10 में आता हो, वो है फिर भी वैसे ही। तादिल अहमद यहाँ पे पूछ रहे हैं, सोलाना इज लिस्टेड ऑन योर एक्सचेंज? यस यस, वी डू हैव सोलाना लिस्टेड ऑन ऊनो कॉइन। तो आप अगर सोलाना में इंटरेस्टेड है तो आप बिल्कुल जा करके इन्वेस्ट करिए उसमें। हाँ, नाउ कमिंग बैक, जब भी आप इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो आपको ये देखना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है मार्केट कैप और टोकन सप्लाई, उस पर्टिकुलर टोकन की सप्लाई कितनी है। उसी हिसाब से आप देख सकते हो कि आने वाले टाइम में अगर ये होगा तो पर्टिकुलर कॉइन के हिसाब से कैसे इसका प्राइस इंक्रीज हो सकता है पर टोकन। अनदर इंटरेस्टिंग चीज जो मैंने अभी हाल में ही सीखी है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग कहते हैं अब बुल रन आने वाली है तो आप 100x टोकन के बारे में बताओ कि कौन सा टोकन जाएगा एकदम 100x, या फिर चलो 200x। सो एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग अभी एक सेशन चल रहा था जहाँ पे मैंने देखा था अजीत खुराना जी का, हु इज ऑल्सो वेरी फेमस पर्सनैलिटी इन आवर स्पेस। तो उनने बहुत स्टडी, ओके, आदित्य यहाँ पे कह रहे फोकस ऑन बिटकॉइन, स्टडी बिटकॉइन, गुड लक टू ऑल ऑफ यू। एब्सोल्युटली आदित्य, आई 100% एग्री विथ यू। भारत भाग्य विधाता कह रहे कंपाउंड कैसा टोकन है? कंपाउंड कैसा टोकन है, इसके लिए आपको करना पड़ेगा डू योर ओन रिसर्च, खुद की रिसर्च करिए, जानकारी इकट्ठी करिए। मैंने आपको कुछ फैक्टर्स बताया, आप उन पर देख सकते हैं, उस टोकन की सप्लाई, उस टोकन का मार्केट कैप, उस टोकन का प्रोजेक्ट रोड मैप, क्या यूटिलिटी है, क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा है। अगर आपको लगता है कि आने वाले टाइम में ये जो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा है कि वो सस्टेन्ड होगा, वो प्रोजेक्ट की सस्टेनेबिलिटी है, तो श्योर, क्योंकि ये ना बहुत ही एक वैसी चीज है, कुछ लोगों ने यार देखो बहुत छोटे छोटे टोकन्स में इन्वेस्ट करके बहुत सारे पैसे बनाए, बट हमने ये भी देखा है कि कुछ लोगों ने नहीं बनाया, कुछ लोगों ने बहुत सारे पैसे गंवाए हैं। तो अब ये आप कैसे करते हो, ये पूरी तरीके से आपके ऊपर आती है इसकी लाइबिलिटी। प्रदीप कह रहे हैं ओनली बिटकॉइन, बाकी सब बकवास। आई सो अग्री विथ यू प्रदीप, बट क्या किया जाए, फ्री मार्केट है, अब हम इसके लिए कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं। हम ज्यादा ज्यादा लोगों को बता सकते हैं कि दिस इज द थिंग फॉर यू टू गो विथ, बट देन अगेन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे किसी भी पर्टिकुलर इंडिविजुअल का डिसीजन जो है वो उसी बेसिस पर होने वाला है। जैसे कि मैं बता रही थी, जो लोग 100x कॉइन देख रहे हैं ना, तो अगर आप कॉइन मार्केट कैप के साइट पर जाते हो, उसमें आप देखोगे कि कौन से एक दिस अ सेक्शन वेर यू विल सी द टॉप गेनर्स। अब टॉप गेनर्स में आप देखोगे कि बहुत सारे एकदम फालतू फालतू प्रोजेक्ट्स, उन्होंने 500% गेन किया होगा, बहुत सारा गेन किया होगा विद इन 24 आवर्स। बट जैसे आप उसको फिल्टर आउट करते जाओगे ना, टॉप 500, टॉप 100, ऐसे ऐसे करते जाओगे, तो जितने ज्यादा गेन वाले हैं वो पीछे जाते जाएंगे, वो गायब होते जाएंगे। जिसका सीधा मतलब है कि अगर आप उस तरीके के गेन पर देख रहे हो इन अ शॉर्ट टर्म, इट इज वेरी 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 क्लियर कि देयर इज नो रिलायंस अबाउट दिस प्रोजेक्ट। एंड जैसा कि प्रदीप ने कहा, जैसा कि आदित्य ने कहा, बिटकॉइन खरीदो यार, सारी सारी स्ट्रेस हटाओ दिमाग से, क्योंकि दैट इज वन एसेट दैट इज द फादर ऑफ ऑल द अदर एसेट इन दिस स्पेस। एंड टेक्निकली मतलब बिटकॉइन को compete कर सके ऐसा कोई एसेट अभी तक मार्केट में आया है नहीं, और आ सकता भी नहीं, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से बिटकॉइन क्रिएट किया गया था, दैट वाज टू सॉल्व अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रॉब्लम, दैट वाज द कंट्रोल ओवर योर ओन मनी। आज के डेट में लोग क्रिप्टो करेंसी को देखते हैं एज अ टूल टू मेक मोर मनी, विच शुडंट बी द केस। Bitcoin and Bitcoin, actually just Bitcoin is the one that has been in this space, that was created with the intent of giving you the power over your own money. तो अगर आपको ये देखना है कि मैं 100x 2 महीने में कैसे बना लूंगा, श्योर आप रिसर्च करो, बट अगर आपको ये जानना है कि आप, हाय सात्विक, हाउ आर यू डूइंग टुडे?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great, Sathvik. So, guys, welcome our speaker for today, Mr. Sathvik Vishwanath, the CEO and co-founder of Unocoin. So, Sathvik, before you came, I was actually talking about these projects, and people who keep asking what are the 100x tokens, 100x projects. So, I was just giving them an analogy. If you wanna get rich in some time, go research. If you wanna get rich and maybe have control over your wealth, invest in Bitcoin. And again, not a financial advice, always do your own research.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Correct. Sure. I'm sorry for the delay. I just got stuck with something. Couldn't get out in time.
Oh, no issue, Satvik. I think we were having an interesting conversation which is going to continue with your expertise now. And bull run is coming. Finally, the bull run is coming after a long wait. The ETF got approved. So many things have happened since this year just kick in. And something that I'm really keen on learning is we saw ETF coming in. A lot of people anticipated that it'll get rejected. The price will dip. Again, it got approved, but price still dipped. So that was something interesting that we witnessed. But again, that is a very normal thing before any bull run. So what do you think? Like, why do you think that happened, and what are the factors that kind of caused that dip?
See, it's not like every person who is buying Bitcoin has the intention of holding it long term. So when we know that a specific event is happening, depending upon the probability of that event, there are short-term investors who would take positions. Okay, so now there are people who bought into Bitcoin just because few days or just about a week or so before that date of the ETF final judgment was, I mean, ETF got launched. Right? The approval for ETF was given. So now for them, the goal of whatever they want to see, which is the ETF, is achieved, and they started to liquidate their holdings because whatever they were expecting, anticipating, due to which the price will go up, is kind of over. So, which essentially means after that there is no new, there is not like again the price will go up. So this
Yes.
is one side of the story. The other side of the story is that about the GBTC, which which essentially is because of one of the already present crypto funds in US, which is like significantly large. They had some lock-in terms and such things, and finally SEC gave an approval that that can also be converted to ETF. So due to which there is a large sell-off, right? So there is people who have locked in, who have purchased Bitcoin in some kinds of lock-in terms. Now they have an opportunity to exit because it's ETF. ETF is very similar to shares, right? So there is no restrictions of once you buy, you have to hold it for X amount of time, etc. So you and that is still ongoing. So people are selling off. People are selling off. So as we see that even after 10 days, that sell off continues to be there. And it's actually easy for people to track it because people are aware of Bitcoin addresses in which those Bitcoins were stored. And whenever they see them getting moved to Coinbase or anything like that, they will understand, okay, this is being moved because it should be liquidated. And when such kind of large deposits get into exchanges, then eventually there is price dip that happens. So that is a kind of thing what we have seen right now. And it is also that after ETF is approved, there are people who would just treat Bitcoin just like any other equity or commodity investment. They don't have to worry about the industry or what Bitcoin is bringing to table, whether Bitcoin will be successful in the future or not, why it got invented. All of that is kept aside. It is just that you can buy now and it can be sold. And people have done some kind of diversification already. Some people, so up to a couple of percent of a few percent of a total portfolio diversification is already over. And for them, they always compare crypto also to equity markets because that is what they are familiar with. And in equity markets, the norm is okay, once you get 10%, you want to sell it off. Once you get 20% profit, you want to sell it off, kind of thing. So when it comes to crypto, there is also people who would have bought it just after the ETF because ETF got launched. And in another 3-4 days, when the price started falling, they would have felt insecure and they would have also started selling. And when selling pressure increases, the price dips even further. And they are not holding it for long term. Okay. And when it after the ETF is approved, I also believe there is always large amount of buyers and large amount of sellers in the market. It is no more like okay, like no one want to sell Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin price is less, because there is always some people who have already made their profits and want to book it, right? So due to which I actually see this to be a opportunity for the market or the Bitcoin market to ask to attain better sustainability. So the price should not be really volatile like how it used to be before. And at the same time, this also comes with another disadvantage, which is we cannot expect 3x or 5x the money in a single year. So it always is like, yeah, it's getting closer to how the equity and commodity works. So all of this combined is what I actually have seen in the last 10 days.
Absolutely, and I think with all of these things happening, I see this as a very good opportunity. So हमारे पास सात्विक, we are getting a few questions over here. पंकज का क्वेश्चन है जिसका हम बाद में जवाब देंगे. इसके पहले भारत भाग्य विधाता ने काफी एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात कही है. सेइंग अभी तो बिटकॉइन बाय करना पॉसिबल नहीं है, पैसे नहीं है, बट नेक्स्ट बेयरिश रन में अगर बीटीसी $40,000 तक डाउन आया तो एक बीटीसी बाय करूंगा. यार भारत भाग्य बताता आपके लिए आपके लिए हम हमारे पास एक बहुत ही अच्छा सोल्यूशन है जिसके बारे में मैं ना इस सेशन के स्टार्ट से बात कर रही हूँ, विच इज कॉल्ड एसबीपी. तो अगर आपके पास पैसे नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं, आपके पास अगर कुछ भी अमाउंट है एक्स्ट्रा जो आप इन्वेस्ट करना चाह रहे हो, बस उसको आप लगा दो आराम से एसबीपी पे एंड जस्ट फॉरगेट अबाउट इट. दैट इज, ट्रस्ट मी, द बेस्ट वे टू इन्वेस्ट इन बिटकॉइन एंड इन इंडिया. क्योंकि इंडिया में हमारे पास इतना काम होता है, वी डोंट हैव टाइम टू कीप ट्रैकिंग द प्राइस एंड कीप ट्रैकिंग द अपॉर्चुनिटीज. नाउ कमिंग टू पंकज's क्वेश्चन, सात्विक, ही इज आस्किंग आगे चलकर बिटकॉइन का क्या भविष्य है. सो व्हाट इज द फ्यूचर ऑफ बिटकॉइन, सात्विक?
See, I think the industry wise and technology wise, nothing has changed. So why Bitcoin got invented and what it is trying to achieve, it definitely is working in that way. And eventually, people seeing that there is not enough Bitcoin in the world, and it is not like created to form a lot of inflation, but instead it's kind of deflation, right? So I don't see in any field or any particular aspect of Bitcoin which is failing. And it has been that way almost since like 10-12 years already. First 3-4 years maybe was experimental and people were learning. Very few people knew about it. Unless you are like little techie, you cannot do anything with it, because everything is like white and black code language and things like that. So now we have so many good interfaces, and a normal common man also have a good understanding of Bitcoin and such. So I think it still continues to go in the very positive direction. So which comes down to will there be the better and better prospect. So again, better prospect does not depend upon the price of Bitcoin. That's what I think. Even though it is required, right? So for whatever we are trying, whatever the industry is trying to achieve. So I would still not see. I mean, I've actually read and heard so many experts predicting 200k, 300k in the next 6 months or 1 year. I actually doubt that, given the ETF is also in place. So in the short term, it is tough to say what it will be like. But if you are looking at some long term, maybe at least about a year and a half too, this actually continues to look good to me.
Absolutely. And Satvik, I think there's another thing, because you have been in this space longer than I think most people in the country. So I don't know if you'll be comfortable answering this. It's a very wild thought. You can say that you don't want to answer this. But what was the cheapest price that you purchased a Bitcoin at?
I actually haven't really done a lot of Bitcoin purchases myself. I believed in providing services and building Unocoin. So I started Unocoin in 2013. So at that time, instead of actually starting Unocoin, if I had put all of that money into Bitcoin, I would have never needed Unocoin, and also we would have had one less exchange, and you would have had enough people to fight at Supreme Court. Now talk about the taxes, unfair taxes, etc. Okay, so but when it comes to Unocoin, the cheapest Bitcoin that we have sold on the platform is for 11,000 rupees.
Oh, okay.
And the costliest we have sold is for about 55 lakhs.
Oh, God.
So yeah, so that's literally like a 500 times difference. It's not 500%, it's 500 times difference. That's what we have. Yeah.
But
So,
Satvik, coming back to your point where you said there would have been one less exchange, trust me, We right now need a lot of exchanges, especially like Unocoin, who are very much, on the front line promoting self custody, because that is something, people have just started questioning. It was something that everybody needed from the start of it, but now is the time when people have started questioning about it, right? And with Unocoin promoting it, it's something very necessary. It is a place for people to go now that there are no international exchanges in the game as well. People need a place to go where they can have the custody of their own bitcoins, where they can own what they're getting. Again, this was the original idea of Bitcoin, and somebody needs to take the idea forward. So I mean, we do need Unocoin. We very much do need Unocoin, and I think we are so grateful that Unocoin is here. Okay, now coming to another one of our questions over here. Study Bitcoin. Okay, there is Prakash. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your second name, so I'll refer to you as Prakash. Prakash here is asking, is Unocoin registered under India's new rules?
There is no new rules in India. Okay, so I think Prakash is talking about the FIU registrations and the guidelines and such. From my knowledge, every exchange, we already know at least the top seven, eight of them. All of them have registered under FIU, and all of them are following the rules. It is not the rules, if you say. I would say it's like an obligation that if there is, it's just like a um, the responsibility put on exchanges that if there is any kind of suspicious transactions, it should be reported, and if there is anyone from sanction list registering on the exchange, it should be investigated and reported. And there is something called travel rule, so which says from where the crypto is coming and where it is going. So if any data is available through that channel, it should be analyzed and reported if anything suspicious activity is happening. So these are the similar obligations that the banks also have. Now it is put on crypto exchanges also. So the last time when I checked, there were about 40 or so number of businesses who are already registered with FIU, saying that they will follow the required rules and do the required reporting, and they want to be included as a part of FIU's compliance list. So yeah, we fall under that as well, and we follow, yes.
Absolutely, and that is one of the reasons why you should be on Uno Coin, because I know I get very silly, guys, but trust me, this is not because I'm doing this, but because I'm also a customer at Uno Coin. I utilize all of the services, and I know for a fact, and I just don't do this here. I do this everywhere. So I mean, don't take it otherwise. But then compliance is something that always has come first at Unocoin, and I mean that's there, and we also keep educating you guys about all of these compliance and other stuff. Now Aditya has a question here, Sathvik, who's asking, do you see Indian government coming up with a Bitcoin ETF so that corporations slash government can custody themselves and citizens will reap the profit and won't be allowed to self custody? Do you see that happening?
I wish it happens, but it is little challenging because of the present views of it could be SEBI or RBI regarding the crypto industry. So it is yet to grow to an extent where they want to allow something like this. But I believe it will be just a matter of time. It will not be like if it happens. It is about when it would happen. And if you also see in the past, um, so we have seen whatever happens in US or the developer countries with a lag of about 3 to 5 years. It has actually repeated here in India. And whenever the new technologies for new technologies, if this thing happens, and after it gets introduced in India, even though initially there is a time to pick up, it will literally become the limelight because of the population that we have, the English speaking ability, or understandability, could be internet penetration and smartphone penetration, and the young population. So all of that kind of adds up to make it really work good. So the number of smartphones connected to internet, like we have the maximum. So, and when it comes to, I mean, it's the number of frictions that we have to get into something new worldwide is kind of less. Except that, yeah, there are some restrictions, especially from RBI about movement of funds. But India is a kind of self-sustaining country. We shouldn't really be stressed and forced. It's open to new ideas, but we try to implement how it is suited for this law of the land and take it forward from there and make it suit our country and the mindset of our country, reservations of our country.
Absolutely. So there's a follow-up question from Aditya. By the way, Satvik, just last week, Aditya did an EMA with us too, along with Sunny, on Bitcoin and self-custody. So he's got a lot of questions here about self-custody. He's asking, but with ETF, it discourages self-custody. Is that good for Bitcoin? Do you see that as a threat?
See, not every person today is aware of how to self custody Bitcoin, and you need all types of investors getting in. So there are X number of investors, X percentage, who would never get into Bitcoin just because they don't know self custody and they don't want to learn it also, and they don't want to take that kind of risk. So now what will happen is there are institutions which are doing that for them and taking that particular risk of self-custodying. I mean, like the institutions doing it and giving the guarantee in some kind of regulated fashion that they've custodied that much of Bitcoin can be bought and sold on the market. So that's exactly what ETF is all about. So if someone is technically interested to do the self-custody, they will not take the ETF route. They'll just come to a place like Unocoin and buy Bitcoin and withdraw. There are some exchanges which are not allowing withdrawal. I think people will eventually figure out. So on Unocoin, it's definitely people can withdraw it. It is just capturing, the ETF is just capturing people who would not have been the invested to Bitcoin uh, if not. So I actually don't see that to be a threat. It's only getting better, right? So over a period of time, and they also will be able to expose themselves to the potential of the Bitcoin and whatever it is. It's eventually, if it is a profit or a loss, they'll face that as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, I mean, the whole purpose why everybody was so excited about ETFs in the crypto industry was because, it was opening gates to a larger market, larger consumer base. Again, this is a good start point for anyone. But again, it's something that anybody who knows and who wants to do self custody wouldn't go for. This is something that is happening in the US as well right now, and I think if India decides to even come up with something like that, that will be really good for the market as a whole, not just on the front of Bitcoin's market, but also on the front of awareness of this particular asset class.
That's
So
so true. It is just like this, right? So if you want to buy gold and wear it as a jewel, then you will not buy gold as on a commodity market. Instead, you go to a gold merchant and buy it. So if you don't want to self custody, then buy it in commodity market. It is fine. It is regulated. It should be fine. So it is just that the where they want to do and what they want to do. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, now coming to the next question. Okay, we have couple other questions, but there's Pradeep who's saying Bitcoin Lightning withdrawals is not available. Only deposits with Lightning is. Majority of people need Lightning wallet withdrawal facility, Lightning withdrawal facility.
Yeah, we are very aware of this. So initially, we wanted to open up for the deposits, but very soon, maybe in a week or two, we will start opening up for the withdrawals as well. Sure, it will be available to people.
Yes, Pradeep. So soon enough, you'll be able to withdraw as well. Just stay tuned, and we'll update you as soon as this facility is live. So just stay tuned. Okay. Next question here we have is from Bharat Bhagyavedata again, who's saying ETF approve हो चुका है. इसका क्या result देखने को मिल सकता है, positive या negative?
I would not say it as positive or negative result. It is just it's just exposing the industry to a new set of investors. So eventually, what that investors would choose, whether they want to invest into it or not, will be up to them. We can also argue if someone was so serious about buying Bitcoin, they would have figured it out anyway. They would not have waited for ETF. But there will be some who are on the fence and they may be able to do. I think for us to decide if eventually it was a positive impact or negative impact, I would at least wait for 3 more months. But I would say it's more people better the party, so it will be better.
Yeah, as every new thing that is coming is just excitement. So definitely, if nothing at all, it's gonna bring more awareness. That is something that we strive for, and this is a news that has done the job. I think just today, Satvik, I know we have a lot of questions, but I really wanted to tell you this and discuss this one thing with you. I think just today I saw this very interesting tweet from an American economist. Peter something, I can't exactly recall his second name. So he happens to say, this is how Bitcoin works. You create a digital money thing online, you artificially limit its supply, and then you pretend that it has got value. Some people buy it, and then the price starts going up, and then more people get FOMO, they start buying it. Some people created a concept of hodling, and this is how they're making this game work. I commented on it saying, I mean, at least there's a limited supply. What did you do with Fiat? And aren't we just pretending that it has got it has value too? So, what do you think about these opinions? I know it gets a little, on a different front, but
The bad thing about Bitcoin is a common man can learn everything about it. And the good thing about fiat currency is, even an economist, it is really difficult to know all people connected. A lot of people have started questioning the fiat currency because there is Bitcoin and they're comparing it, saying that, look, there is a better system now. What are you trying to do so far? Kind of thing. So, yeah, you can simplify to whatever extent, you can complicate it to whatever extent. Fortunately, unfortunately, we don't have a precedence for it. This is the first of its kind. Something tomorrow I can compare to Bitcoin, but what could have done? What I could have done if I have to compare Bitcoin to something to make a normal person understand? It's too tough. That's the exact issue that we faced as a company for first 3-4 years also. So if he's saying this is how it works, I mean, whatever he said actually true. Wherever you read it, I don't see it to be false. It is just like oversimplification. But if people want to understand Bitcoin in that way, okay, like you have some understanding of it at least than no understanding.
yeah.
And if they find that to be interesting, they will learn the rest for sure.
And I bet Satvik, these are the people, who are just posting stuff like these. They're already holding Bitcoin. And I just have this very strong feeling they're just doing that for some, God-forsaken reason. But then again, they are very much aware of the potential this particular asset class holds, and not just an asset, but for the coming days as a currency as well. Not coming days, which means like 2-5 years. It will take at least next 10 to 15 years to come to that phase, but then again it will be interesting to see how that goes at that time. Okay, now we have Abhijit's question here, which was our topic for today, but we were discussing all sorts of things other than our topic for today. So he's asking, sir, what steps we should take before the upcoming bull run. So I mean, yeah, the topic says what you shouldn't do ahead of the bull run, but I think Satvik, you can give like 3-4 pointers as to what should you do, and then we can talk about what you shouldn't do.
See, here the question is the bull run itself. Okay. So once you know, or if I know for sure the bull run is there and in X number of days, there are a lot of things that I can precisely say, do these things and don't do these things. It's not like that. So it is subject to the kind of volatility and understanding of what the dynamics is all about. But in a way, if you see on the other side, at least all the short-term events that we know about cryptos, in most of the cryptos, not only Bitcoin, is kind of priced in. Okay, including Bitcoin halving. It's an event. it's definitely going to happen. There'll be the new supply will definitely be lesser than what it is. That's all fine, but that is already priced in also. So once that is priced in, do we anticipate, okay, the moment the supply decreases, the prices go up by 1.5x, 2x, whatever x percentage? It's unlikely because it is not an if, it's just about when. And you also know when. So there is nothing to even consider that to be. Um, so now it comes down to doing the investments or taking the precautions, right? So if it is a bull run, uh, so obviously it means if the bull run is in the future, and if you have very good clue about it, because you're thinking that you are researched and that was your kind of analysis so far. One thing obviously you should be doing is staying invested in various cryptos. I would say people should not go to an extent that that investment really screws up the happiness of the family or compromises their well-being and education in the future. Definitely, someone should not do that. They should not be taking any kind of loan for doing these kinds of investments. It's okay to take a risk on 100 rupees and expose yourself to get a benefit of 150, but don't stretch yourself that you cannot afford. Say that, okay, if 100 can become 150, then how about I take a loan of 10,000 rupees and then make it 15,000? So even though the multiplier is same in both cases, the 10,000 rupees could be your biggest stretch. So you should know your limits and only take risks to that extent. And again, not taking risk at all is the biggest risk. So if you are even watching this video interested in crypto, then definitely I'm sure someone who is watching would have some kind of idea of in doing investments, right? So else people usually don't bother yet till it comes to where it becomes a very very normal common man thing already, yet it is not yet there yet. So yeah, if they're investing, they should be careful about these things. And lot of times when people invest into crypto, um, and they are not aware of what they should not do, they'll just get scammed, like some kind of phishing links coming in, or they become victim of some kind of fraud activity. So one should be very very careful if you're holding crypto. It is not like you hold crypto in your mobile and it get hacked. I'm not talking about that. The moment you have crypto, and if there is any kind of fraudulent attempts or something which you don't identify, you may intentionally end up sending that and become a victim as well, because you have crypto and it's easy to transfer. So one should take it really really seriously, and it has the value. It should be safeguarded, should be protected. Is how I would see that. And if someone want to diversify into not just Bitcoin but other cryptos, so which are comparatively like altcoins, right? So which are comparatively much more volatile, etc. And if they're going to meme coins or some kind of DeFi coins or NFT related coins and such, which are even more experimental and risky in nature, then one should have a little balanceification and balancing is required in their portfolio. So how much Bitcoin I want to hold, how much Ether, how much Dogecoin, how much Shiba I want to hold, how much extra. So they have to have some kind of good understanding of their portfolio and rebalance it at least once a week. So that actually reduces the surprises of what could happen. So what looks really fantastic in bull run would really, 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 really badly hurt when the bull run actually is. So like how it happened in 2021 also, and now also we see. So people thought the ETF was a bull run, right? So the way the prices went up, it went up to like what, $48,000 or whatever. And once that event is over, it's actually falling every single day, 2-3% falling. Right? And you will have difficulty identifying when you want to sell it because you have seen such a good peak and the prices were high, and the day you think, okay, maybe by tomorrow it'll at least be stable or it might have increased, but every day it's falling, and you always think about what it was 2 days ago, and you still don't sell it, and you don't exit positions that actually will make you book more losses if you get forced to sell because of any kind of cash crunch you may have. So, which again comes down to my initial suggestion that as long as you don't have cash crunch, then you will not do it. So, which means it's important you only expose yourself to what you can afford to invest and what you can afford to lose. So then, generally, it should work. It should work in your favor. If not today, maybe in the near future. But anything more than this, you could get struck, and you only need to get struck once. I mean, getting out of it is actually tough, and you have to again start from the beginning. Yeah.
I think Satvik, I'm going to ask the team to create a little snippet of this talk and put it on our social media because this is a very essential piece of information that every investor at this point of time really needs to know about. All of this inclusive is something that we need to keep in mind as individuals, and especially about the part where we have to expose ourselves in a limited amount. Because, at the end of the day, what we need for our needs, if we're going to spend that for this, if the market dips or something, we just might get such FOMO, we might liquidate it, we'll end up losing so much of money. And this actually happens. This is not a imaginary analogy, but this actually happens. And I just hope that all of you guys who are watching our session today are exposing yourself to these assets in the capacity that you are able to. Just don't use all of your money for this. Use little sum of money, use SBP, do a monthly thing. Just be safe, and yeah, also enjoy the market, keep learning. Yeah, that is one of the important things. And like Aditya here, in our last AMA, he also mentioned saying ki study Bitcoin. That is the most important thing. Study the market and then understand about all of these things, and then take your call today. So, okay, Aditya already has something to say here as well. Let me see. So, Aditya here is saying, Sathvik, thanks for creating Unocoin and fighting in the Supreme Court. Without you and your team, Bitcoin in India would not have been possible. Thank you.
Sure. No problem.
Kshatriya Golu here is saying, hello, sir. Thank you for the information. And there is Abhijit. Great advice, sir. Stay invested. I'm in SBP with Unocoin. Sats are becoming precious day by day. So only focus is having Sats to grow each day. Same, Abhijit. Study Bitcoin. Aditya is again saying 1 rupees equal to 30 Sats today. Soon enough, 30 Sats will be 30 rupees will be 1 Sat. So
No, it's not very long ago when I used to say that when we're talking about Bitcoin, right? And we say, okay, Bitcoin is X lakhs or X thousand rupees. I used to say that even if you want to send 1 paisa, you can send. Okay, and very recently I realized you cannot send 1 paisa anymore
yes.
because one Satoshi is also about 3.5 paisa now.
Yes.
So that that argument doesn't hold good now.
I wonder what will be the smaller unit of Satoshi. If it goes beyond that, the population is increasing, the need and demand is going to increase over the years.
I don't think we would
Unless
need
we tell by that time, that is true. That will be a problem for another generation, but then, yeah.
I mean, like, still, if you have 21 million and again 100 million pieces of each, uh, I mean, if we hit that wall, then we are in a different world already.
Yes.
For probable, it's unlikely for that to happen so soon.
Yeah, I mean, we'll either have to go immortal or something to witness that day, but then again, sometime that day will come. Maybe, couple 100 years down the line. But yeah. Okay. So, okay, let's see what all do we have here. Do we have any more questions? Fantastic. Okay. Mm. So, Satvik, something that I wanted to understand from you, very recently I saw an interesting discussion going on. A show where you as well went, and there were a lot of other stakeholders from the industry, and it was hosted by Crypto Adi and Sandeep, and it was a very nice session. I watched it throughout, and some of the really interesting points came in, and one of that was related to community support, you know, because a lot of people right now were like super mad at Indian exchanges or the Indian government for tracking down foreign exchanges like that, taking away something that they treasured and utilized for their day-to-day activities. And then again, you know, we see something that the whole purpose of creating Unocoin, or let's say any other exchange that exists today, was to help out people gain this, like, you know, even Unocoin's tagline says bringing bitcoins to billions, right? Now, amid all of this, what is the community support that we need today to, you know, foster growth, foster something that we can call together made in India, and, you know, just go ahead, like, as a community?
Yeah, see, using foreign exchanges, I would not say it's like bad, but the thing is that if you are in India and if you're a citizen of India and law-abiding person and a taxable person, it's important either you have to figure those things out and do it themselves, or you do it yourself, or just use an Indian exchange who already are taking care of these kinds of taxes. And if the taxes are to be paid, then it has to be paid. We cannot continue arguing. We can always like argue for months together or years together how it is high. But India, once it has made up its policies, that's what it is till the policy gets amended. So we'll have to see if it gets amended, when it gets amended. There's a lot of people who are attempting to do that because it's like unfair taxation rules exist today. But if you are in the country, then you are abiding with it. So it's as simple as that. And then figure out the rest, right? So there was, I mean, I also think we may continue to talk about this, and maybe there is some amendments, whatever it is, because it's comparatively new. Like we are seeing these kinds of taxes since from 1 or 2 years. But it's also true that in kind of any kind of taxation over a period of time will become a very norm for people, right? Um, so when GST got introduced, I think in 2017, when you just walk into some kind of restaurant and when you actually see GST as a line item in 2018, 19, 20, people are not really happy about it. Whatever they were buying, like GST was on top of it. Oh my God, everything is becoming costly, costly, costly. And now it's like accepted because if you're living here, and that's how it pretty much is, and it just exists. As simple as that. It will be similar with crypto as well. If it gets better, it could get better, but at least we should be happy that there is some number that is put there, not like left blank. So that is how I would actually see it as. Whether they with whatever kind of trades they do, if they are India, just follow the norms, and you will actually be like quite safe and quite happy as a citizen, and just following it up. And another thing I can just highlight here is this is not like cash transactions where once a transaction is over, it's like over. There is no evidences, nothing to bite you back in the future. So the blockchain holds all required transactions, everything in place. So the transaction that you may be doing in 2028 uh, may have some kind of link to a transaction that you did today because of some same address being used or change address being used, etc. And anything that could track back in that particular fashion I mean, could actually expose your activities which was not tracked so far. So one should be really, really, really careful, and instead of being careful, just pay. I mean, it just makes it very clean, and you just know that forever you're fine that way. So that is how I would see. It's just matter of time when people become used to it, and because of this reason, because of it being complicated, one could and one should avoid foreign exchanges. So I should.
True, and I think something that we've also said in our previous AMAs is something that, you know, why the reason why you should also rely on an Indian exchange is because you have somewhere to go to. in case of a mishap. Happened with FTX, there's no regulatory recourse now. Unocoin is FIU registered. It's a PMLA entity. There's so many things that we are already, taking care of from our side to ensure consumer protection. Now, all of these things, are they being done on an international exchange is also a big question. And in case of an FTX like collapse in a, larger scenario with any other big exchange, international exchange you're talking about, who do you go for regulatory recourse? Because they are not FIU registered in India. That is the whole reason why, they have been shunned from India. And there's nobody who's going to help you out in that scenario, not even the management of that company. If in India companies are FIU registered, the founders are always here, coming, talking to you, are live with you, they're directly interacting with you, solving your problems. Customer supports are just a dial away. Everything is very much at your disposal. And also, Satvik, since you brought up taxes, there's something interesting that has been going on Twitter for the past couple of weeks. That is hashtag reduce crypto tax, right? And something that I really found it funny, and I think I was talking about it in one of the other speeches as well. It's very funny how this is happening, because this is a vote on account year for budget, because this is an election year, which essentially means that they're going to replicate the past year's budget without any major reformatory announcements. Now all of these hashtag runnings and people trying to, I mean, I'm very happy that people are taking initiative towards something that is, required by the community and the industry.
Mhm.
But then, isn't it like a little stupid to do this right now, because we know for a fact that it's not going to happen in at least this budget session, not until the July budget session comes in, until the government actually, there's a new government and they prepare a new budget for the year.
Yeah, see, this is not something that could yield um, some kind of results very soon. But it again helps spread the word, continue to have more and more people, and it's also a lot of people talk about why the taxes, whatever we have, is unfair.
Yes.
So there is a lot to tell, right? So I think all of that combined, if it has to happen like a campaign for over a period of time, it will happen that way. So people should at least be aware of what we are missing out here in India. I mean, you might have chosen to stay in India and live here forever, or maybe go into some other country or whatever it is. There is obviously some kind of comparison that you would do to figure out like how the developer countries or the developing countries are working towards this kind of rules and taxation policies, and to what extent it has worked in India, and that eventually could become a voice for the government to relook at it when it is time for them to relook at it. Okay. So by in another say 5-6 days, it's almost 2 years since the new taxation rules were proposed, and it has not helped significantly the industry. It has only done some harm. So we'll have to see.
Absolutely. And one of the most interesting part about this whole hashtag is that we have been doing this for the past couple of years. And now that hashtag finally went trending.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting that. All of a sudden, it became trending. I think what, some 15-20 days ago or so. It's already like 725 days old campaign. Every day
Yeah.
I'm continue doing it. So it'll be about 2 years in about 5-6 days. So I remember that. But anyway, yeah, more and more people fund. So people should just be aware. And
I think people should be aware. People should be aware of the solutions, which is to hodl. Just hodl your crypto and forget about the rest. I mean, that is one of the things that you can do until at least there's some, reformatory announcements that come along. And yeah, I mean, just till then, peace out. Support hashtag crypto, reduce crypto taxes, and be active on Twitter. Follow us. And with this, we reach the end of our today's session, Satvik. It was a super amazing session. I'm sure everybody over here in the comment section had so much fun too. And guys, just do hit the follow button on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching us from, and turn on that notification button so that whenever we go live next, you get a notification and you can join us. Thank you so much, Satvik, for being here. Thank you so much, everyone else, for joining us today. We'll see you again next week. Till then, bye bye. Keep supporting the campaigns and keep following us online.
yeah, thank you.